I want you to run the play tonight. I want you.
Devolved into a powder keg of resentment, humiliation, and rebellion. Sami Zayn, the ghost of Bloodline's past. To truly understand the weight of Solo's loss, one must remember the opponent who dealt the blow. Sami Zayn. Sami's history with the Bloodline is legendary. Once their honorary use, Sami was the emotional heart of the faction, bringing levity, loyalty, and even humanity to a group that thrived on intimidation. His eventual betrayal at the 2023 Royal Rumble, when he struck Roman with a steel chair to defend Kevin Owens, became one of the most iconic moments in modern WWE history. Since then, Sami has lived with the scars of that fallout, fighting to prove that he belongs among the best without the Bloodline's shadow looming over him. For him to be the one to defeat Solo Sikoa in a high-stakes match for the U.S. title opportunity added layers of poetic justice. The Bloodline, once untouchable, had been pierced again by the man they once mocked as an outsider. For Solo, losing to Sami wasn't just about the match. It was about letting down the family against an enemy who once sat at their table. Solo Sikoa's burden. Solo's role in the Bloodline has always been a paradox. On one hand, he was Roman's most trusted enforcer, the stone-faced destroyer who arrived at Clash at the castle to ensure Roman's survival. On the other, he was the youngest, the one most overshadowed by Roman's dominance and the Usos' championship legacy. In recent months, with Roman taking more time away from weekly television, Solo began stepping up. Fans started to see him as the heir apparent, the one who could carry the family's legacy into the next generation. A United States title win would have legitimized that perception, proving that Solo was not just a follower, but a champion in his own right. Instead, the loss exposed him. It punctured the aura of invincibility he had built, and gave critics ammunition to argue that without Roman's leadership, Solo was vulnerable. Roman's return. The tribal chief erupts. When Roman Reigns' music hit on SmackDown, the atmosphere shifted instantly. For months, fans had speculated about his return, and his presence alone sent the crowd into a frenzy. But the celebration quickly curdled into dread. Roman entered the ring with the swagger of a king surveying his broken kingdom. He circled Solo, his eyes filled with disdain. Without hesitation, he grabbed a microphone and let loose. "You embarrassed me. You embarrassed this family. You embarrassed the Bloodline," Roman thundered, his voice echoing through the arena. He paused only to sneer before driving the knife deeper. "Pathetic. That's what you are. Pathetic." The crowd gasped. Roman had belittled his cousins before berating Jimmy and Jey Uso during their run-ins with him. But this was different. This was venom. This was Roman not just scolding, but dismissing Solo's entire worth. The visual of humiliation words alone would have been enough, but Roman's body language told an even deeper story. He shoved Solo in the chest, slapped the microphone into his hands, daring him to speak. Solo, usually stoic, looked down at the mat, silent and ashamed. The tribal chief paced like a predator, snarling with every step. Fans watched as Roman raised his hand, teasing violence, before pulling back at the last second, a psychological game that made the moment even more gut-wrenching. The younger cousin who once saved Roman from certain defeat now stood emasculated before him, stripped of pride and respect. The commentary team drove the point home. "Roman Reigns doesn't just want loyalty," Michael Cole declared. "He wants obedience." And tonight, he made sure Solo knows his place. Fan reactions. Shock, anger, and intrigue. The WWE Universe wasted no time responding. Social media exploded with clips of Roman's verbal assault, with fans debating the implications. Some were furious at Roman for humiliating Solo so publicly, while others praised the drama as the spark the Bloodline storyline desperately needed. On Twitter, one fan wrote, "Solo didn't deserve that. He's carried the Bloodline while Roman's been gone." Another countered, "This is the tribal chief reminding everyone who runs his family." Perhaps most telling was the trending hashtag, "Solo deserves better." Fans, once skeptical of Solo as a star, are now rallying behind him, sympathizing with his plight as a man beaten down not by opponents, but by his own family. The ghost of Jey Uso. Amid the chaos, another name has begun to surface: Jey Uso. Jey's history with Roman is the most personal of all. He was Roman's first challenger during the Tribal Chief era, fighting in emotional battles where family bonds clashed with championship glory. Roman forced Jey into servitude, belittling him just as he now belittles Solo. When fans heard Roman call Solo pathetic, many immediately thought back to Jey's infamous line, "I don't respect you." The parallels are impossible to ignore. Jey broke free from Roman's grip once before, and now fans speculate he may return to SmackDown as the voice, and perhaps the savior that Solo desperately needs. Could Jey Uso, the man once called Main Event Jey, be the true heir to the Bloodline legacy? The seeds of rebellion. Roman's fury may have asserted his dominance in the short term, but in the long run, it may prove to be his undoing. By humiliating Solo, Roman risks pushing him to the same breaking point that led Jimmy and Jey to rebel. Solo has always been silent, but silence often hides storms. His eyes during Roman's tirade told a story, anger simmering beneath shame. For now, he may endure Roman's wrath, but every empire falls when its generals stop following orders. The seeds of rebellion have been planted, and once they sprout, Roman's reign could collapse faster than anyone expects. Sami Zayn, the spark of chaos. It's easy to forget in all this chaos that Sami Zayn is the man who started the domino effect. His victory over Solo wasn't just another win, it was the catalyst for Roman's eruption. Sami once represented Roman's greatest weapon of manipulation, the honorary use, who was desperate for family acceptance. Now he stands as the ultimate thorn in Roman's side, the man who repeatedly exposes the cracks in the Bloodline's armor. By defeating Solo, Sami didn't just win a match. He reminded the world and Roman himself that even the strongest dynasties can fall when one man refuses to be silenced. The road ahead, Paris and beyond, with WWE Paris Clash looming, the timing of this implosion couldn't be more dramatic. Will Roman and Solo's fracture explode into physical violence in Paris? Will Jey Uso return to align with Solo, creating a rebellion strong enough to topple Roman? Or will Roman tighten his grip, punishing Solo further and daring anyone to defy him? What's certain is that the Bloodline saga has entered another volatile phase. The United States title loss was just the spark. The firestorm is still to come.